Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Prince O. Decent sized creator, 50K-ish subscribers. I'm not sure if he's a passport hater or not, passport bro hater or not. The title of his video seems like it. The truth about passport bros. Exposed. So let's see how we're getting exposed through his video. Please like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get to that chow. It's chow time. You know, it's funny. I change the color of my background. I do it every few weeks or so, and it always seems to change the color of my face greatly. When I had the purple darker background, I was so much darker in my complexion. I just thought it was funny. I just had to mention it.
To the Brazil, the Colombia, a lot of times you're gonna be using a translator, and sometimes the girls, you might pull out your phone and she gonna be like, nah, especially when you go to, let's say, Sao Paulo, where a lot of the...
Remember, this is not a diss video. I don't really make these videos to diss on people or anything. I genuinely want to know what they have to say about passport bros, and then, you know, we'll rebuttal here and there too.
Girls are well off, where a lot of girls are actually cultured. I would say Rio was amazing for a black dude. Oh, crazy. But yo, when I went to Sao Paulo was different, okay? A lot of girls were well off, and they did.
Okay, so at least this gentleman travels and has traveled and travels pretty frequently. So he has at least that side of the experience to be able to speak on it. So I'm not gonna, you know, be too upset that the things that he would say.
He didn't really care too much about you being American. I would say when I was going to Sao Paulo, bro, I was competing with the rich Brazilian dudes for the girls, okay? When it comes to passport bros, there's one thing that they usually never tell you, okay? And I'm about to go tell you what it is in this video. And I feel like I'm credible enough to actually talk about it, because I've been to a lot of these places that these passport bros have been to. Brazil, Colombia, DR. They say Canada don't count. I've been to Canada.
So he's only been to the South America. It seems like he hasn't been to Asian countries because he hasn't mentioned it.
And I've been to a lot of places. I just haven't been to Thailand, right? So okay, I can talk about it. And for a while, I was encouraging guys to do passport bros. But I will say there is some negatives. One thing that being a passport bro is really a big dream. That's the big thing. Most guys who I've met that went overseas, they go about one time a year, and they're there for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then the whole rest of the year, they're like, F American girls, F the Western girls, F this, I'm going to Brazil, I'm going to Colombia, I'm going to this. Which there's some truth, right?
Okay, I can see how some men are like that, where they were only able to travel once or twice or so, once a year, and they've experienced it. And yes, they would probably come back and be like, yes, I don't want to deal with the women here. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Women aren't the best women, right? But if you're not going to Brazil, Colombia, all these places for more than 3 to 6 months, you better learn how to have game in America. If you're only going 2 times out the year, so you're only getting pum pum, or you're only getting boxed 2 times out the year, and you're talking about I'm going overseas, bro, a lot of guys don't.
See, this, again, because he's a dating coach, all he mentions is poom poom and getting women. That's not what men want, brother. It's not the game of the United States that men are tired of, in a sense. It's the women and the prize that you get for playing the game. I don't mind playing the game, to tell the truth. I take life as a game. Everything is a game to me. Why? It's literally an RPG that I'm leveling up, acquiring assets, acquiring armor and gear to, you know, hopefully take down a dragon later, which would be becoming a millionaire or something. You know, that's how I see it. So him kind of speaking that way, I can somewhat understand, but it's also not because we're not trying to look for poom poom. Again, poom poom is not hard in the United States. We know this. The men that are truly traveling and want to travel, I think you're kind of confusing the actual sex tourism people with passport bros. Because if you're only traveling once for a week or two, I don't think you're a true passport bro, because more passport bros would be saving money to spend longer times and periods in these countries and want to learn the language. And remember, they're there for wives and to settle down, not for poon poon. Stop getting it with the poon poon. Poon poon is not too hard, especially in the United States, especially for decent men that can travel.
don't have the practicality to go there. And if you're one of them dudes who do, if you're not an engineer, if you don't have consistent income, you're not a teacher, you don't have them good jobs where you can work overseas and get American money, it's not worth it. And if you about to go over there to get their currency and not American currency, bro, you're better off, you're an idiot. You're better off staying over here. And I'll stand by that, okay? Man,
all that statement I can agree with, that last bit of statements, because yeah, you need a good job. You don't need to be an engineer. I swear to God, people can do it fine with having a 50K job and living below your means. And then you can literally travel probably once or twice a year if you're living below your means, you're saving up money, and you're making 50K. A trip over to Asian countries is probably going to be like 5 to 10K depending on the flight and how much you want to spend there, you know, and how much you can afford to not make money. So the long, you know, it's interesting that he does have some good points, you know, but it's not like a pipe dream. I don't think it's that big of a pipe dream. I think it's a lot more achievable than most men are thinking that it is, because it's not that hard to save money if you're willing to put in the work.
And I've been to these countries. I know how it is. I know how the women are, right? So it's just a dream, a facade, bro. Now you guys coming over here. You going there for 2 weeks and then you come back over here. Now you're texting your girl. You only gonna see her for 1 year out the year. You don't think she getting piped down while you're over here? You don't think she getting piped down while she's asking you for money? She being feminine to you. You know you're only gonna be there for 2 weeks. Now she asking you for money when you come back. But you're like,
see, this is where I think he has a little bit of, he's more used to South America. It's not like that in Asian countries. If you go to really, you know, like Thailand, you know, Cambodia, Laos, and all those countries, the women are a little bit different. Like, sleeping around is not usually a thing unless they're very modernized and you're in the major cities. So if you get a normal woman that does want to build something with you and you guys are talking back and forth, not saying that it's 100% guaranteed, but it's likely that she probably would not be sleeping around with other men. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, and I'm not saying that you're gonna find one off the bat either. It does take some sifting. It does take some time and effort to find a good woman. Remember, women are women first.
passport bros, right? And I've been to these places. And then let's be real, what's the long-term goal? You about to go over to the passport bros. You about to go overseas. You about to go travel to another country, okay? Cool. You're there for 2 weeks. Are you gonna spend the rest of your life over there? You gonna leave all your family, all your friends over here? You gonna leave your career, all that to go over there?
That's the other part I actually agree with. This is why I say I don't think very many of us are actually going to be passport bros. Why? Because of these particular things. You have family here. Are you willing to leave your family? Some men are. Some men aren't. You know, the things he's mentioning about like that we don't mention, I mention these things all the time. You know, like there's reasons why some people don't want to leave the country. Either they're taking care of family or they have too much family here and they really love their family, and that's a big part of their happiness. You know, like, tell the truth, that's a kind of huge part of my happiness is my family. This is part of why I'm taking some time to, you know, build more funds and, you know, take care of family things before I'm willing to fully leave the US, right? You got to do things to not leave things behind in shambles if you want to do something for yourself. Like, you can be greedy. I'm not saying you can't. You can be greedy and just up and leave and fuck everybody else. You can. Me personally, I just don't like doing that because karma's a bitch.
Or what are you going to do long-term wise? You going to bring her back to America? Ooh, now let's see how that girl looks. Let's see how she turns out when she comes back to America.
See, we talk about this. We tell them, you know, we advise men, don't do it. You can. It's very unlikely it's going to be successful. Again, my family is pretty successful with it, but that's my family. But most other families in the Cambodian community, it is a well-known thing that Cambodian women take advantage of Cambodian men and just leave them. So it is a thing. But these Cambodian men are also not so like keen on the knowledge that we have now to be able to vet women. So
let's see how she turns out. She's not gonna get influenced by the Western culture. I can say this for myself. I love my people. I love Nigerians. But I've seen a lot of Nigerians come overseas to America, be feminine over there, to come over here. Now they're chasing the bag. They're chasing the award. They're chasing the money. It's just naturally how the culture is. Okay, she come over here. Now she's switching up to Western culture. See, a lot of times you have to stay over there long term. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I will say, I can't disagree with them when they say that women over there don't are feminine. They look better and they're feminine. But the thing is, when I'm thinking long term wise, how are you gonna make that sustainable? Because yo, I go overseas every few months. I've been to Brazil, like listen in March. I was in Colombia the past couple years. I was in DR this month too. Number 3 is the language barrier. See, maybe I'm just talking about my experience.
I agree. Language barrier is a thing. This is why I tell you, try to learn the language. Put in the effort to learn the culture. Put in the effort to acclimate to where you want to go. If you want to go to Latin America, learn some Spanish. Learn some Portuguese. You know, like whatever you need to learn. You want to learn Thai? You want to learn Viet? Go learn those things. Like, you don't have to be fully fluent. Remember, in Asian countries, America or English is a pretty dominant language in most of them. So you will have to be able to communicate, but I do agree that the language barrier for long term should be broken down as best as possible.
It's like, yo, I went to Brazil and I bagged hella girls with the language barrier, right? And it's cool.
See, this is the part where I don't really enjoy. Like, I bagged hella girls. That's not what really passport bros are wanting. Like, we like the option to be able to bag a lot of girls. No worries there. But we are there to select the few that we can feel that we can settle down with. Remember, like, the end goal is to settle down with. Like, he's asking, like, oh, what's the end goal? You're gonna bring her here? No, the end goal is to have a family. Wherever that can take a passport, bro. Hey, sometimes it might be moving back to the US. You have a lot of family here. You know, you might want to take that risk. It's up to you. Is it advised? Fuck no, it isn't. At least not by most of us passport bros, because we've seen what happens. So, you know, remember, don't take my advice. Don't take my word. Don't listen to him. Maybe there's some things that ring true to you when he speaks. This is why I do what I do.
Them are really just gonna mess with you off the strength that you're American. But long term wise, bro, I practiced for months, hired a tutor. And I went down there, bro, they still didn't understand what I was saying, bro, because of my accent, okay? Even the small words, like, I can't remember, I think it was like, you couldn't say Burger King, or you have to say like Burger King or something like that, okay? And the thing is, long term wise,
well, that's normal. That's like vernaculars of each country, you know, like my family, how we say Anaheim, it's Anaheim, you know, or like how we say certain streets, like Euclid, we say Euclid, you know, we just shorten things or elongate things differently than how people speak in the US. It's just a little bit different.
The language barrier does mess you up. And I'll say, I code approach. I went down there code approach in Brazil. It's cool. I'm talking to them for a little bit, but after a while, they don't understand what you're saying. And then long term wise, it's kind of hard. You're on a date and not using translator. It kind of gets awkward and weird. But if she really likes you, she gonna like you. I did it a few times. Is it what
See, this is the part where I think he's not genuine with these approaches. You know, like, he's just there to smash, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I think, you know, how he's saying, like, you know, he's cold approaching and these women are whatever it is. Yeah, to him, it's probably awkward and weird with the translation app. But if you genuinely want to get to know someone and they want to genuinely get to know them and you want to make this as like a permanent thing, I don't think too many men are that upset or that picky about using the app. If the women are, then I can understand. But I think men are genuinely okay with trying their best to communicate with the other person.
I want to do ideally? No, I want to be able to spit some game. I want to be able to talk to her, chat her up. And I heard that's why guys go to Thailand. So I'm talking from my experience, but when it comes down to the Brazil, the Colombia, a lot of times you're going to be using a translator. And sometimes the girls, you might pull out your phone and she going to be like, nah, Especially when you go to, let's say, Sao Paulo, where a lot of the girls are well off, where a lot of the girls are actually cultured. Like, I would say Rio was amazing for a black dude. Oh, crazy. But yo, when I went to...
Hey, the more he speaks, it seems like more he's like a little bit of a sex tourism, which again, I have nothing against that. I have nothing against what men want to do with their fucking lives, their dicks and their monies, right? But from his perspective, I think he's still conflating what he wants out of traveling and what Passport Bros wants out of traveling.
Sao Paulo was different, okay? A lot of girls were well off and they didn't really care too much about you being American. I would say when I was going to Sao Paulo, bro, I was competing with the rich Brazilian dudes for the girls, okay? And I found out that a lot of times the reason why they do want you is because of that status, because you're American, you do have that car. But once in Sao Paulo, where the girls were hot as hell, but they also had access to rich Brazilians. I was in a nightclub with guys with Brazilians who had like 2 million followers, right? I was still talking to the girls, but I was like, oh, it's not as easy as you think it is, okay? But I would say Rio's a little different, and as a brother, oh, you're gonna eat out there, okay? But then the last thing I will say that I hate about the Passport Bros is, bro, the last thing, whenever you go out to these countries, you go out to these spots, they be like, bro, don't tell them about these spots, they're gonna blow it up, they're gonna become mainstream, they're gonna do it. Keep it low, bro, you can't keep a whole.
Okay, again, I think these are just men that like want to be Passport Bros that are commenting down below, because all the Passport Bros I know, we share everything. All of the major Passport Bro content creators that I follow, that I know, we don't do that. Like, we don't, tell people these things. So I don't understand. Like, I guess because there's normal people on the internet that want to comment that think that it's gonna like blow up or something, but that's what most Passport Bros want. We want more men to experience outside of the US. So I tell everybody, go check these places out. There's a lot of beautiful places with a lot of beautiful women that you can check out. So this statement is a little bit off, I guess, because he's talking about comments, and I can understand comments being like that, but the actual Passport Bros and the creators that are making these contents, we're sharing everything and we're telling everything about to everyone, so I don't think we're that secretive of it.
Country low. And I remember one of my videos went viral on TikTok. I can't remember what I said, what all spots to go if you want to travel, if you want to leave the country. And then guys endless times were like, hey, don't blow up the spots, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, just keep it low, keep it low. Bro, you can't keep a whole country. That's such a beta mindset, bro. That's one of the things I did not like, bro. Yo, if you want to go somewhere, go somewhere. And the final thought is, yo, I'm not coming at Passport Bros. I'm just giving you guys the real reality is. At the end,
I don't think he is coming for Passport Bros. I actually agree with that. I think he's just going off of what he's experienced and what he can kind of put together through his own wisdom and experience, which is actually, I think it's pretty decent, because he's out there doing other things. He's not fully focused on wanting a family and wanting to fully settle down. So I can understand why our thought process and his thought process clash a little bit. But I think it's wonderful that he's still talking about it, and he's not trashing it. He's just seeing some faults that he's experienced himself. And if there's a lot of comments talking about like, oh, don't hide these places, I would agree that is a very beta move. Like, why hide a treasure? Like, if a treasure can be shared, I'm going to share it. Why? Because everybody needs a little bit of like, brightness in their life. That's why you want to share it.
And I'm a dating coach. I'm a self-improvement coach. I'm going to always tell you to look max. I'm always going to tell you to become a more attractive version of yourself. And I'm going to be practical, bro. You're better off just making sure you become the most attractive version of yourself. Get that nice body. Get the best photos. Make sure you get your charisma, mental wealth piece up. Make sure to get your bread up. And yeah, dating America can be horrible. I'm not going to.
See, that's the other thing. I fully agree with, make yourself look as best as you can. Go to the gym. Work on your money, work on all these things. I 100% agree. But the part I disagree with, you doing all that and then having to settle down with a modern woman is probably not the best way to go out. So if you want a better choice and a better selection for all the hard work that you've put in on yourself to make yourself look better, to make yourself more attractive to the opposite sex, go where you can get the best for your value.
I'll lie to you. It's not that easy. But on the con, what you gonna do? You have to figure out how you're gonna live overseas long term. Now, if you can figure that out, okay, that's the biggest thing. But most guys, if you guys gonna be a Passport Bro, but you're only over there 2 weeks out the year, nah, bro, you're not doing nothing. You're better off just becoming better in America, okay?
No, if a gentleman is saving up money and he's only able to travel once that year for the 2 weeks, I still think it's okay. He's experiencing out there, and if that's what he truly wants, then he can work towards it. I don't think there's anything wrong with men just traveling for 2 weeks for their first time and, you know, seeing how it is. And if they see it and they're just like, my mind's blown, and that's the type of life I want. And if they're not putting in the work, they're just not going to put in the work. It's okay. You know, like, no judgment.
Okay. But yo, guys, I freaking love you. You guys like this channel, make sure to check out this video right here where I talk about how to meet girls in Brazil and Thailand. But yo, guys, I freaking love you.
No, I was some decent chow. I don't fully agree with what he says on a lot of things, actually, but I can somewhat understand where he's coming from. But I also know he's a dating coach, so that's the other part of it too, right? I don't know very many dating coaches that really push for passport bros and fully understand passport bros. It just those two things don't work out well with each other. Like, it's like, even when he, like, at the end where he's like, oh, see my video on how to pick up women in Thailand and stuff like that. Passport bros don't make videos like this. We don't make videos about how to pick up women. We just make videos of, this is where you can find good women, work on yourself, and do right by these women and this cultures, and be respectful, and then do what you need to do and get what you want. But yeah, it's a little bit different just because our takes are a little bit different. But no hate on this gentleman. You know, shout outs to Prince O. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.